Your brain is the most powerful tool you own, but are you making it stronger? Every day is a chance to sharpen your edge, build new connections, and unlock your potential. Don't just live, evolve. My name is Professor Alex Horniak, and this is ACEMED Minutes. Train your brain. Borderline personality disorder, or BPD, is a condition that affects how a person feels about themselves and others. It can make relationships very difficult. People with BPD often experience intense emotions that can change very quickly. One moment they might feel happy, loved, and the next they might feel empty, angry, abandoned. This emotional storm is not a choice. It comes from a combination of biological factors, life experiences. Understanding this is the very first step toward providing support. It is like a person having skin with no protective layer, where every touch and every change in temperature feels overwhelming and painful. Think of BPD as a disorder of emotional regulation. Imagine your own feelings are like a thermostat that keeps your emotional temperature stable. For someone with BPD, this thermostat is broken. Small events can cause their emotional temperature to skyrocket to extreme heat or plummet to freezing cold. This makes it hard for them to calm down once they are upset. Living with someone who has BPD can feel like being on an unpredictable and intense emotional roller coaster. One day can be filled with immense joy, affection, connection, making you feel like the most important person in the world. The next day, however, can bring sudden anger, accusations, profound distance, leaving you confused, hurt, exhausted. This rapid shift from idealization to devaluation is a hallmark of the disorder. It is not a reflection of your worth or their true feelings for you. It is a symptom of their struggle to maintain a stable sense of self and others. This constant state of emotional uncertainty can be incredibly draining. Everyday life with a loved one who has BPD can be punctuated by specific recurring challenges. A common situation involves plans changing unexpectedly. You might have a dinner date planned. A minor disagreement in the morning leads your loved one to feel abandoned or rejected. By evening, they may declare they are not going. They may accuse you of not wanting to go with them, or they may create a conflict that makes the outing impossible. This is not simple stubbornness. It's emotional dysregulation turning a small issue into a crisis, making it feel impossible to follow through with the original plan. Another frequent challenge is communication, especially text messages or phone calls. An unanswered text, a call that goes to voicemail, both can be interpreted as deliberate abandonment. That can trigger a barrage of follow-up messages, alternating between pleas for connection and angry accusations. You might be in a meeting at work, unable to respond, and come out to dozens of missed calls and frantic texts. Financial impulsivity is another daily challenge. Sudden, unplanned spending sprees to cope with emptiness or distress. This can cause significant financial strain on the family. Managing household responsibilities becomes a source of conflict. It requires a delicate balance, providing support without enabling. Validation is one of the most powerful tools you have when communicating with someone who has BPD. Validation does not mean you agree with their actions or their interpretation of events. It simply means you acknowledge that their feelings are real and understandable from their perspective. When your loved one is upset, instead of immediately trying to solve the problem or telling them they are overreacting, try to find the kernel of truth in their emotion. You can say something like, "It sounds like you felt really hurt when I was late. I can understand why you would be angry about that." This act of acknowledging their emotional reality can be incredibly de-escalating. For someone who doubts their perceptions, hearing recognition of their pain is profoundly comforting. It tells them they are not crazy and that their feelings matter. This simple act can stop an emotional spiral before it gets out of control. It builds a bridge of connection, showing you are on their side, even if you see things differently. Imagine your loved one is furious because you forgot their favorite ice cream. Invalidating, "It's just ice cream, calm down." That dismisses the feeling and will likely escalate anger. Validating, "You were really looking forward to that ice cream. It must be so disappointing that I forgot it. I can see why you're upset with me." Effective communication with a loved one who has borderline personality disorder requires a calm, consistent, and mindful approach. One useful technique is to use I statements instead of you statements, especially during disagreements. Instead of saying, "You always ignore me when you're upset," say, "I feel hurt and lonely when there is silence between us." This focuses on your own feelings and experiences, rather than making an accusation that puts someone on the defensive. It opens the door for conversation, not blame. Be mindful of your tone of voice and body language. A sigh, a roll of the eyes, a tense posture. Try to maintain a calm and open posture. Speak in a steady, gentle tone. Non-verbal cues convey safety and reassurance. If you feel angry or frustrated, take a break from the conversation. Choose a time when you are both calm to discuss difficult topics. When you do talk, be specific and focus on the behavior, not the person. Instead of, "You were so irresponsible with money," say, "I'm worried about our finances when large purchases are made without us discussing them first." Consistency builds trust. It counteracts fear of abandonment by showing you are dependable. Providing practical support for a loved one with borderline personality disorder can make a significant difference in their journey towards stability. One of the most important things you can do is to encourage and support their engagement in therapy. Help them find a qualified therapist. Look specifically for someone who specializes in dialectical behavior therapy. Provide transportation to appointments. Help them remember to take prescribed medications. Your role is not to be their therapist, but to be a manager for their treatment. Create a predictable and stable home environment. Structure and routine can be grounding for someone with internal chaos. Regular times for meals, regular sleep schedule, regular other daily activities. Use a shared calendar for appointments and social events to reduce anxiety. Help them practice therapy skills. If they're learning mindfulness in DBT, suggest a short mindfulness exercise together. If they're working on distress tolerance, gently remind them of skills when they're overwhelmed. Say, "This seems really hard right now. Do you want to try one of those tip skills we talked about?" Offer it as a gentle suggestion, not a command. Reinforce their learning. Show you are paying attention and care about their progress. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is not an act of punishment or rejection. It is an act of survival and self-respect for the supporter. Boundaries are the rules you set for what you will and will not accept in your relationship. They protect your mental health and prevent burnout. For example, you might set a boundary around verbal abuse by saying, "I love you and I want to talk to you, but I will not continue this conversation while you are screaming at me. I am going to go to the other room. We can talk again when you are calm." Expect high resistance at first. They may become angry, accuse you of abandoning them, try to guilt you into giving in. Hold the boundary firm despite emotional backlash. They apply to your time, your energy, your finances. You have a right to your friends, your hobbies, time alone. Setting boundaries is a loving act for you and your relationship. Caring for someone with borderline personality disorder is a marathon, not a sprint. To have the endurance for this journey, you must prioritize your own self-care. This is not a luxury. It is, honestly, a necessity. If you become depleted, you will have nothing left to give to your loved one or to yourself. A simple first step is to ensure you are getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, and engaging in some form of physical activity. These are the foundations of resilience. Finding your own support system is absolutely critical. You cannot and should not go through this alone. Trusted friends, family members, a therapist, a support group, such as those offered by the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Talking to others who understand what you are going through can be incredibly validating. Reading a book, gardening, listening to music, spending time in nature. Finally, practice self-compassion. You will make mistakes. This is normal and human. Remember that your well-being is just as important as your loved ones. While the journey of living with and supporting someone with borderline personality disorder is undeniably challenging, it is essential to hold on to hope. Recovery is possible. People with borderline personality disorder can and do get better. With effective treatment like cognitive behavior therapy, they can learn the skills needed to manage their emotions, improve their relationships, build a life worth living. This is a journey of growth and progress, not a life sentence of turmoil. Your role as a supporter is incredibly valuable, but it is also important to maintain realistic expectations. You cannot fix your loved one. Their recovery is ultimately their own responsibility. Your role is to be a stable, loving, and supportive presence on their journey. Celebrating small steps forward, a moment of using a skill a day without a crisis. These are powerful interpersonal skills that foster healthier and more authentic connections with everyone. Remember to focus on the person you love, not just the disorder. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and never stop questioning what you know. Thank you for choosing ACEMED to train your brain.